Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Pillars of Eternity 2. I'm Colonel RPG, and I'm very happy to have you here with me as we have a conversation with Adair. I'm recording this after I recorded it, but this is quite an interesting conversation that's coming up right now.
There's a good chance we die out here, halfway across the world from anywhere I ever called home.
Adair's eyes trace a nomadic path as he looks at your surroundings, seeming never to find a comfortable place to settle.
But if I can face it like you, maybe it doesn't matter.
He gives you a quick nod. Some of the tension in his face seems to recede. Adair is very different as well. Not very different. Not as different as Aloth is from the first game. Aloth... I don't know, maybe it's just me. Adair was an interesting character in the first game because he absolutely came across as a simpleton. Just a peasant. He was just a peasant. He was a farmer, I think. And that was so everywhere in his... everything. His mannerisms, his lines, his immediacy of everything that it focuses on. But on this game, that's not, you know, the game doesn't give him his opportunity to just talk about nonsense. Not nonsense, but, you know, small things. He's always talking about himself or something deep. He also doesn't have space to have insights, which I felt Adair was just really fun character to understand in the first game. Definitely, I mean, not my favorite character, because the Weeping Mother was fantastic. But more her writing than just her as a character. Her writing was just brilliant and phenomenal. But Adair was, yeah, my favorite character as a character. And that was because he was super smart. He is super smart. You know, insightful anyway. But he just doesn't put it to use because he's not used to that. And that doesn't show because there's no space for that. His storyline here is a companion. He doesn't... I'm just, like, there's no room for him. So yeah. I mean, and that's also just my understanding of him, of his character, that points me in that direction in saying that, you know, he's insightful but simple. If I can face it like you, maybe it doesn't matter. I'm saying this because I don't understand what the point of this conversation is, apart from comforting him. And he never needed that. That's something that I really... No, he did. And he was receptive to being comforted in the first game, but very rarely. And certainly he wasn't receptive when sometimes it was an easy way to write his dialogue. And that's something I really enjoy in characters. Is just sort of building a wall, I guess, but not necessarily a simple wall of just, nah, I'm not going to talk to you. It's very organic and soft wall, and that works well. That worked well, I felt. I just now read the third line. And that is why this dialogue... Maybe that's why this dialogue is feeling a little bit lost. Because it has a point. Oh yeah. Tell me something, Adair. Do you have feelings for me?
Sure, all kinds. Respect, curiosity about your watcher senses, confusion, a lot of that.
He counts them off on his fingers. Interesting. So this is the first part of what I was saying. He's simple. He's basic, I guess. You know, I'm not saying that, no, and I'm not calling him stupid. I specifically call him super smart, but he's immediate. He's direct, and some things just escape him. And this is that. But then he also can see past that. But I think this time I'm gonna need to force him. That's not what I meant. Adair's face is as blank as you've ever seen it. Watching his eyes, it seems you are able to catch the actual instant the meaning of your question sinks in.
Oh, you mean,
He puffs his cheeks with a long, ponderous exhalation.
Well, I'm real fond of you, in case I wasn't clear. But in terms of stronger feelings, well, you're You're,
Oh, come on. Come on. I'm an Orlan. I know I'm an Orlan. And Pallegina doesn't like... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, Adair is racist. Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I say racist, but yeah, objectively speaking. And of course, Pallegina being potentially one of the characters that is the most against her, because she was absolutely traumatized through her childhood and growing up as a godlike, and especially especially in the Valiant Republics, because there's this whole storyline behind that and all that. But yeah, Adair treats, I don't remember his name though, the Orlan companion that we get in the first game. It doesn't treat us that well. It doesn't treat us as an Orlan. It doesn't just be like, oh, you're an Orlan, you think this, or you're this way. But it treats the other guy, and I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, he's not in this game. The Orlan druid in the first game, he treats him in a specific way because he's an Orlan. Like he's not angry at him or just mad at him or just doesn't do mean things to him. But that's also not what racism is, really, nor not necessarily what racism is. An Orlan?
well, yeah.
Huh. Adair has the pained smile of a thief caught stealing from a friend.
I know it's not right of me to say it, and I know you're different.
No, I'm not. What do you mean the other Orlans aren't like me? What do you mean? No, I'm not. I'm just gonna go with that line. So, it's not that it's not right for him to say it. Is the basic... Oh, this is a very interesting dialogue. It's the basic premise of the thing. Although... Huh. No, yeah, I was thinking if it's different because obviously, you know, humans don't have, there's no race, there's no biological race for humans, but in a fantasy setting, that is not the case. There is definitely a biological race. Never mind the other things, all magical and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes some parallels can be tricky to draw in fantasy settings, but this one is pretty straightforward. Because the situation here is pretty simple. Like, if you don't like somebody with blue eyes, for example, you don't like blue eyes. It freaks you out, and you fall in love with someone, or you like someone, or you're asked out by somebody with blue eyes. Like, you can not like the blue eyes, but to be specifically. I know I'm not gonna go out to you because you have blue eyes, or I'm not gonna go with my feelings because you have blue eyes. That's a specific trait, and Orlans have many more traits than just having a specific color of their eyes. I think they have, like, I'm not really sure what colors of the eyes they have, but they have special eyes, and of course they're all furry, they're small, they have long ears, and there's probably other things as well. So it's not about the traits. Because if it were about the traits, he'd be saying, "Oh, but you're too furry for me," or you have big ears or something, or you're ugly, I don't like you, or I don't like it like that. And that when I put it like that, it just sounds so shallow. It's basically, "Oh no, I'm not gonna go out with you because I don't know, your butt is too small or something." That's super shallow. That's super shallow. But that doesn't even touch the point of this here, because the problem of this is not that your butt is too small or that you're too bushy as an Orlan. It's that you're an Orlan. I'm an Orlan. And that correlates with every other thing that Penumbra would have as an Orlan grown up with. And in this game, in this world, there is definitely racism against Orlans in multiple places. In the Deerwood is not too much, but there's definitely racism against Orlans in the Deerwood, and so all of that would connect. And it's blatant here that it's like that it's specifically about the race. Adair here is specific. This is specifically about the race because it's driven home by the second line. I know you're different. Which is different from what? From other people with small butts? No. From Orlans. And that's a problem right there. I'm sure I'm not eloquent enough to explain it in all its permutations, but this is a problem over here. For one thing, it's what I said immediately. If you don't respect Orlan, yeah, it's this is the line. This is the line basically that touches why this is a problem. He's saying that I'm better than other Orlans. He's putting down every other Orlan, and at the same time putting me down as an Orlan, of course. And even though he elevates me, the other problem, of course, is the problem of what's the word? Being accepted. Validation. That's the word. The problem of validation, because at the same time he's making sure I want to be able to reply to his judgment of me using the principles and the validation taught into my character as an Orlan. So when Penumbra grew up being, I don't know what I actually don't know if Orlans have a, I don't know, I don't remember what her past is. But let's say for example that she is Deerwooden, and I'm pretty sure the Orlans were treated with scorn for the most part in the Deerwood, and it's of course a very a country for big, tall people. I think in Red Sarah's it's a little bit different with Orlans. I'm also not really sure. I don't remember. But let's pretend that Deerwood is just a place that treats Orlans with a little bit of scorn. Things are not, there's places where Orlans go where other people don't go, and vice versa. There's like taverns for that and all this. So there's a little bit of difference there. And Penumbra grew up in a family that let's say for example had an abusive parent, and everybody in her family, siblings and the other parents or whatever, everybody else just sort of taught her to deal with the abusive parent and praised her for being rebellious, for example. Let's pretend that's rebellious. And all of her siblings and her parent, whatever, they were rebellious as well, because they were all grew together to love each other, apart from that one source of strife in her family. What he's saying here is that I'm different. What she's different, is Penumbra here, my character, is that sort of validation that she felt throughout her life. This is all hypothetical, just as an example. It's not as valid. It's basically not as valid because he's bringing her out of that. He's making her to be more like the rest, maybe more conforming, or maybe more like him. And of course, this is born out of ignorance, as often racism is, and it fits the character, and it definitely has a precedent here. Let's see. You'd better believe it's not right. No, the part that's not right is that I'm still attracted to you after hearing that. Forget it. Forget I said anything at all. That is very interesting. That they're... Huh. I am surprised. I'm surprised that his character... Because he doesn't... I played as an Orlan, I think in my first Let's Play. Did I? Was it? I think it was. Or was in the Twitch. Anyway, in the Twitch playthrough. But I played it and I never really said anything. He does say he does like furry things, like to pet them. But he never never did. I think he never said anything to my character, but I think he said something to the Orlan druid that we had in our team, as in regards to petting him as well. Which, I don't know what the cultural background for that is, and if that is just something that's really racist, or if it's a fun joke. But yeah, this is surprising. Yeah. No, Adair, I'm not different. If you don't respect Orlans, you don't respect me. That's basically, that sums it all up, doesn't it?
You gotta understand. Growing up in the Deerwood, you just didn't mix with Orlans. Didn't meet many, and when you did, a lot of times it was bad news. I never met hardly any myself, but you'd hear stories. Over time, that's what you had to go on. Knowing you now, I got two different notions of what an Orlan is. And they're both just kind of swimming around up there. I do think a lot of you. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. But even knowing it might not be right to think those things about Orlans, I can't change how I feel. Maybe in another life.
You can change how you feel. I'm thinking. He was saying that before even that line showed up. He was saying that. I was thinking, is his storyline gonna be? Am I gonna have a storyline where I'm gonna be able to redeem him somehow, partially anyway? Because what he's saying, it's good that he know. I mean, to an extent, it's good that he understands that it's wrong, and that he's just being honest about his racism, basically. But you can change how you feel. It just takes work and effort, and it takes self-awareness and humbleness. You know, it's difficult. It's not gonna happen today or the next week or maybe the next month or year. But over time, as you remember, every time you're like, that's an Orlan. Maybe they're up to no good. Oh wait, why did I think that? Why in self-reflection and all that sort of stuff. Over time, you're gonna train yourself as you got trained to exactly what he was saying. Because at the end of the day, that's really, well, I can't say that it's all it is, but a lot of what racism is the culture that is bred into us by a lot of things. And of course, in his case, he doesn't have mass media and doesn't have news and whatnot and things. He just has his own community. So, and then it's that vicious cycle, and specifically isolated cycle of just being against Orlans, especially if Orlans represent a different nationality or a different culture altogether. I don't have feelings for you either. I was just asking if you ever change your mind. Give me a chance. I could make you see things in a whole new way. Huh. I want to go with that, but that sounds weird. Let's see what happens. I don't know. That's not exactly what I want, but let's see. Give me a chance.
Well, I don't doubt your spirit. If anyone could, it'd be you, I'm sure. I hope you don't think less of me. I like what we got going here. It's closer than I've been to anyone in, I don't know, ages. I'll tell you what, though. I'm not one for big promises.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and looks you dead in the eye.
But I'm gonna beat up as many people and monsters as it takes to get you your life back. You got my word on that.
He smiles with one side of his mouth and gives you 2 heavy swats on the shoulder that reverberate up and down your spine. Huh. That's the other thing that surprised me as well. I was expecting him to be very detached. I don't see his character in the first game as a romantic entity at all. Not because... Mostly because he's never in a position where that could be a thing, but, you know, there's other characters that openly talk about their romantic life, like Sekani, for example. Even the Orlan. The Orlan is actually very bawdy about some jokes and all this sort of stuff in Pallegina. I think he and Pallegina have some interesting interchanges, and yeah.
Hey, look who it is.
It surprised me more than more than on one level. Tell me about Byrne.
Wasn't what I expected, I know that much. I had this idea that maybe I'd get along with him. Either 'cause he was like his mom, or 'cause he was like, But it was like somebody talked him out of his personality. And when he looked at you, you got the feeling he was looking at someone a long ways behind you. It's not his fault. He's alone out here. And his mom was such a force.
I think maybe he was his dad. I don't remember that from the beginning of the quest. But I think maybe he was Adair's son.
If she was so sure of herself, she'd have had that co-leader following her. Hard to replace something like that.
How do you like Deadfire?
The air is different. Especially compared to Gilded Vale, where there's more livestock than shovels. Sounds different, too. You wake up to all those bird calls, it really does sound like they're making music. If the birds woke you in Gilded Vale, it was usually a couple crows making the most horrible mating noises you ever heard. Strange thing is, I still get this feeling in me, like I wish I was home.
That connects to what he was doing before with his eyes, never finding one place to rest. Yeah. Why are you blue?
I can still feel those vines under my skin. But that will pass. Thank you.
Because she's not part of my crew. She's just here. Yeah, she's blue for a normal character. Yeah. Okay. So, moving on. Let's have a chat with everybody, because I think the game took me here and it activated dialogues precisely because I must talk to people. Bedul, Seraphin.
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
So, Seraphin.
Aye, Cap.
Short, blue, and hirsute happens to be my type.
Oh, appreciate the sentiment, Cap, but, let's not make things uncomfortable.
Okay, farewell. I didn't remember why I hadn't chosen that one. I think I know why. Maya.
Your orders, Captain?
No, let's be off. Then I get Takeo. Takeo, who I believe my character is in a, let's call it a relationship, but I'm not really sure how that goes.
You have questions?
Because there's
Ikera, I have answers.
Okay, well, Aled. And we have Irena. Mother Sharp Rock, Rum Dum Rigere.
Agrasima casita forte.
And me taking off, because we're going to Nekataka. And I finally can say what I was going to say when we started talking with the gods. It's my problem with the Nekataka. Well, not my problem, but again, I keep cutting myself off. I'm terrible. My issue that I want to raise with the royalty of Nekataka isn't so much with the caste system. It's more really with the way they treat the what do they call prize share, and it's yeah, it's a bit of a big problem. Let's see what I can do here. So you are our navigator. You go over there. You didn't train in navigator, which is great. Everything is good. And I have some tic tacs. What is that called? Hardtack. It's see, that works, and that's good enough. Let's no, not the supplies. That's the one. And now I can look. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's for the Queen Onekasa. Absolutely, we'll be going there in a little bit. Let me just sort this by price. Sounds good to me. We have some superb stuff over here. Good stuff. Some exceptional things there as well. And I know exactly... Yeah, everything is good. Oh. Enter works. Hiccups. Hiccups also work, unfortunately. They shouldn't work as well, but they do. We got some swords. There we go. Oh, no. What was my throat doing? The sounds. Hopefully you didn't hear any of that. You might have. You might. I'm so sorry. So, one of the slavers, grimoire. That's the new one we got. The rest of the stuff I'll keep. We have ourselves some superb breastplates. That's a new thing, and I can just sell it. Good, good, good. And then I have minor deflection. Just keep it over there. It's fine. And then we have a lot of things and a lot of kitties all over the place and a lot of spyglasses. They're actually pretty expensive, which is surprising. Books don't stack as far as I can tell. And then we have a bunch of cannons and a bunch of flags. The flags don't sell for anything. The cannons do. And this is going to give me 25, almost 26,000. That's really nice. And let's just go. And it gives me a discount. It's all fantastic. Is it Serpent's Crown? It is. The Kahanga Palace. The rooftop. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go to the palace first, because I want to talk to Aruhi, or whatever the prince's name is. I don't remember exactly. And see what's going on up there. Especially because I get the impression that the prince really is the, you know, the actual... there's a word for... chief of operations sort of situation. I don't know if that's that's definitely not the word, but that was a word that that I wanted to, that's the meaning that I wanted to convey. Okay.
Ikera, but I hear whispers that you visited the Hazanui's Adra lighthouse. Too much has happened for you to waste words with the royal brother. From now on, you work with Onikaza as an honored guest of her rooftop garden. Only be kind to her cats.
I'm always kind to cats. I have some questions, though.
If you have questions, the royal brother will hear you.
No, you won't, because it's all done. I think I can ask
Ikera.
you. Yeah.
Both.
Farewell. And I guess that's that. Just basically, royal brother. He's referring to himself. doesn't have anything for me. So we need to go to the rooftop, but we also need to end the episode because we're out of time for the day. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Pillars of Eternity 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.